News Channel 3 starts off with breaking news right now.
They couldn't even talk him down long enough to get that out of his hand to find out if it was a real gun or a BB gun.
A follow-up to a rape investigation ends with the suspect dead in an officer-involved shooting. Hello, West Michigan. Thanks for being with us on this Friday night. I'm Kate Tillotson. This deadly officer-involved shooting happened just hours ago at an apartment building on Dutton and Burdick in downtown Kalamazoo. Family members identified the victim as Brad Mason. News Channel 3 had the first camera on scene. We've been staying on top of new developments on WWMT.com all night long. And News Channel 3's Andy Dominiani is live outside the apartment building right now. He is live with the latest on the investigation. Andy.
Yeah, Kate, we are live at what remains a very active homicide scene here right downtown Kalamazoo, right on the corner of Burdick and Dutton. And it would appear that the investigation into a very violent rape and kidnapping from Wednesday morning has now come full circle and ended in a very violent way. The prime suspect in that crime now reportedly shot and killed by police about 5 hours ago on the porch of this brick apartment building behind me, now cordoned off by police tape and surrounded by police detectives. That shooting happening at about 5:30 this evening. Police say they were doing follow-up work on that reported rape and kidnapping in Westnedge Hill. In that case, a woman says she was out walking about 1 a.m. near Fairview and University when a man in a pickup truck grabbed her off the street, raped her, and then dropped her back off. A crime police say was extremely brutal. Police also say the victim got a very good description of her attacker and his truck, and that information led them here tonight. They were greeted at the door by a man with a gun, which led to them opening fire. Our Erin Baskerville is here as well. He continues our live team coverage now with more on what happened, having spoken one-on-one with Police Chief Jeff Hadley and with Brad Mason's family members tonight. Erin.
Andy, lots of unanswered questions by the suspect's family, of course. We were at KDPS headquarters around 7:30 tonight, and the family actually came up to us looking for answers. They were desperate. All they knew is that their family member had been shot and killed by police. Like you said, as you can see behind me right now, a very active scene. And if you can look in between these two large vehicles, you can see there are still police officers right there by that doorway, still collecting evidence, still assessing the scene. In between those doors, this is where it all took place. I'm told at least 5 different officers showed up here following up on a rape investigation. 2 officers. Crime scene tape surrounds the area in the 100 block of Dutton in Kalamazoo. The chief tells News Channel 3 at least 1 officer fired his weapon, killing the suspect.
No, I don't.
We need to go in
We need to go and talk.
Okay. Investigators aren't telling us the suspect's name, but his family tells News Channel 3 the man shot and killed was 42-year-old Brad Mason. Police say the suspect had a gun when they knocked on his door this afternoon, following up on a rape investigation in Kalamazoo.
We believe, and I believe, that the individual displayed a weapon towards officers in a threatening manner, and the officers engaged them in with return gunfire.
No, that's not Brad.
He didn't own a gun?
No, not that I know of.
What are your feelings that they were looking at him as part of a rape investigation?
Nobody ever told me.
Yeah, Brad was...
This is the first I knew.
Detectives are trying to figure out how many officers fired their weapons and if the suspect fired his gun.
He was working all day yesterday. He works at LDS trucking company on I-94 and...
A key piece of evidence in the rape investigation was a red pickup truck. It's not exactly clear if that was spotted in the area today.
What kind of vehicle was he supposedly been driving?
Did Brad have a red pickup truck?
He has a...
He did? He had a red pickup truck? And you believe right now that the person that was shot and killed was that alleged rape suspect?
He was a person of interest in it. We have not been able to follow up on, obviously, the investigative leads that brought the detectives to that location. But obviously this person at least was a person of interest in that investigation.
As As you can see right now, police are all over this apartment building that has several units. You're looking through a window right now on the second floor. That's where police are. And like I was saying before, about 5 officers showed up here. 2 knocked on the door. That's when that suspect allegedly had a gun. He greeted officers with that. That's what they're telling me. They retreated, backed off the porch, and that's when a confrontation started. That's when that suspect was shot. We're also being told that that suspect was apparently on the phone with his best friend, and his best friend told the suspect's family that he heard police say, drop the weapon several times, and then about 5 shots were fired off by at least 1 officer. They're still trying to figure out how many officers were involved in the shooting, if 1 officer fired a weapon, if 2 officers fired their weapon, if the suspect actually fired his. What we're also being told by the family is that Brad Mason did actually have 2 pickup trucks. And we know that the red pickup truck was a key piece of evidence in this rape investigation. The investigation into what happened, of course, will continue. We know by protocol that some officers, of course, will be put on paid administrative leave. Of course, still a lot of questions out there from the family and also, of course, from the chief. Let's send it back to you, Andy.
All right, Erin, thank you. Now, the person that family members say was killed by Kalamazoo Public Safety tonight is 42-year-old Brad Mason, who has a very extensive criminal history. He is a registered sex offender, having served 6 years in prison after pleading guilty to accosting a child for immoral purposes. His long criminal record dating back to 1991, and that includes convictions for breaking and entering, operating a chop shop, also indecent exposure. Once again, that is 42-year-old Brad Mason. Now, this is not the first officer-involved shooting that Chief Jeff Hadley has had to deal with in his 5+ years as Kalamazoo's top cop. Of course, we all remember in April of 2011, Kalamazoo Public Safety losing its first ever officer in the line of duty. Eric Zapata shot and killed by Leonard Statler while responding to a report of shots fired in the Edison neighborhood. Statler would later turn the gun on himself. To January of 2013. Last year, Jacob Grassley shot and killed by Kalamazoo Public Safety officers in the lobby of the Best Western Hotel on Portage Road. At the time of the shooting, they told the prosecutor they believed he had a gun. That turned out not to be the case. The shooting was ruled justifiable anyway. Here we are again tonight. Another officer-involved shooting, this one happening now a little over 5 hours ago, downtown Kalamazoo. What's happening right now, police are taking pictures, they are taking measurements, they are trying to recreate what happened on the porch of that building. Ultimately, a report will be given to the prosecutor, who will decide if this deadly shooting was justified. We'll be out here for much of the evening, as will they, and we'll bring you more information later this half hour. For now, we're live at Burdick and Dutton in downtown Kalamazoo. Andy Dominiani, News Channel 3. Kate, back to you.
Andy, thank you. Our live team coverage of this deadly officer-involved shooting will continue throughout the show. We'll get back to Andy in just a few minutes. But right now, we want to turn our focus to the forecast. You are looking live now over a very chilly downtown Kalamazoo, where more snow is on the way this weekend. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Kate Thompson, who is tracking the forecast in Severe Weather Center 3. Kate, those police officers have been on scene of that deadly shooting for almost 6 hours now, and it's so cold.
Very cold and getting colder. The wind chills right now are already in the neighborhood of minus 14 degrees in Kalamazoo. It is going to be a cold overnight as well. 2 words you need to know about our weather this weekend: cold and also snow. But the cold's going to be a bigger player. Right now, the air temperature in Kalamazoo is 1 in Kalamazoo and Battle Creek and 3 Rivers. It's minus 2 in Sturgis. A little warmer northward in Grand Rapids at 8, and Holland coming in right now at 9 degrees. But again, here are the wind chills. It feels like 16 below in Battle Creek, 14 below in Kalamazoo. It is another frosty night on the way. Live Doppler radar is quiet on our 100-mile scan, but tomorrow afternoon and evening we'll start to see some snow, and by the time we get done with this Sunday, we could see 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. I'll have more on that weekend outlook coming up. Kate.
It was harder than I expected it to be, you know, to know that he was the last person to see my son alive and that he was killed in his presence, you know, and that was just difficult.
One of 3 suspects pleads guilty in the shooting death of University of Michigan medical student and Schoolcraft native Paul DeWolf. Shaquille Jones says he and 2 other men, Joey Jordan and Dejon Franklin, broke into DeWolf's Ann Arbor apartment and shot him during a struggle. Police believe DeWolf was a victim of a botched robbery attempt. Today, Jones pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in a Washtenaw County courtroom. He faces at least 18 years in prison. A West Michigan community comes together in honor of a Michigan State University student shot and killed in East Lansing last weekend. Just hours ago, Thornapple Kellogg High School put on a celebration of life ceremony in honor of 20-year-old Dominique Nolf. During tonight's boys and girls basketball games, fans held a fundraiser to raise money for Nolf's funeral expenses. Rival Hastings joined Thornapple Kellogg in this show of support, all organized by students.
It's a way to remember DJ. It's a way to, I think, ease a little bit of their pain also they're going through right now, and it's just a positive thing.
Now, East Lansing police say someone shot Nolf at his Cedar Village apartment last weekend. Investigators believe surveillance cameras caught the suspect on video entering and leaving Nolf's apartment. That man enters casually and calmly, but leaves in a hurry. If you recognize him, you are asked to call East Lansing police right away. News Channel 3 is there as President Obama signs a sweeping $956 billion farm bill into law at MSU.
The truth is, a lot of folks go through tough times at some point in their lives. That doesn't mean they should go hungry, not in a country like America.
The legislation was recently approved by Congress after years of bargaining with lawmakers. The bill cuts $800 million a year from the food stamp program and replaces billions in direct payments to farmers with expanded access to insurance in case of a disaster. Governor Snyder was not able to attend the president's signing of the farm bill today due to a previous commitment, but he did issue a statement saying, quote, "The president's visit is a well-deserved recognition of Michigan's dynamic, cutting-edge food and agriculture industry. Just as our state is a model of economic success, it also has a distinguished reputation as an agricultural leader and innovator." We are continuing to follow breaking news out of downtown Kalamazoo. News Channel 3 is on scene of a deadly officer-involved shooting.
Yeah, a multi-block area cordoned off downtown Kalamazoo, Kate. An officer-involved shooting happening here about 5.5 hours ago now. Family members say the man they killed, a registered sex offender. Police say he's the prime suspect in a rape and kidnapping. More details from the scene coming up.
Now, Keith Thompson with your Severe Weather Center forecast.
Well, another super cold night for us here in West Michigan. Another frigid night. Those wind chills already down to -10 to -15. That's about where they're going to be sitting during the overnight period. Fortunately, the winds actually are going to die down just a little bit. Snow will return tomorrow afternoon with a little light lake effect going on Sunday. Right now, the air temperature already sub-zero in Sturgis, -2, 3 in Coldwater, 1 in Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, and 3 Rivers. You know, we had a sub-zero morning again this morning in Kalamazoo, the 9th we've had so far this season, and that's the most we've had since the winter of 2000-2001. And the last time we've had more than that, the last time we had more than 9 sub-zero mornings in a season, or sub-zero temperatures in a season, 20 years ago when we had 10. We might even be making a run at that number. Of course, the air temperature, that's cold. But here's what's really cold. Look at this, -16 now in Battle Creek. It feels like 14 below in Kalamazoo and Lansing, double digits below zero in Coldwater, 3 Rivers, and also in Benton Harbor. Well, it's quiet on live Doppler radar. Nothing happening here, but the radar will pick up a little bit in intensity and activity tomorrow. Watch as we go hour by hour with your forecast. Skies right now predominantly clear, but we'll see some clouds starting to build in here overnight. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little early morning sunshine, but then the clouds will be dominating the sky, and by afternoon, we'll be seeing some light snow that'll develop. That moves out, then we'll catch another shot of some snow coming in here on Sunday. And by the time all is said and done, we could end up with 1 to 3 inches of snow. There could even be some locally higher amounts. in some of the lakeshore areas. Of course, stay with us all weekend long. We'll continue up to speed on that. But right now, it looks like the snow will be on the lighter side. Tonight, skies will become partly cloudy overnight with a low right around 2 degrees. Again, those wind chills super cold. And for tomorrow, our skies become mostly cloudy with some afternoon light snow developing and that high temperature right around 18 degrees. Your 7-day forecast, again, some light snow on Sunday as well. And then looking ahead, Monday, we could see a little bit of lake effect as some colder air comes back in here. It's going to be a cold start to next week. And then also, it looks like we'll warm up later on in the week. We could see freezing by Thursday. We'll have more news for you coming up in a couple of minutes.
This February, we uncover if a scathing race report is hampering police patrol. Explore how to find out if you're missing out on big bucks. This February, turn to just one station, News Channel 3.
We are continuing to follow breaking news out of Kalamazoo, where police are on scene of an officer-involved shooting. News Channel 3's Andy Diminiani is on scene with the very latest on the investigation. Andy.
Yeah, a terrible night for so many people. Kate, an officer-involved shooting happening at this brick apartment building at about 5:40 this evening. Police were called here during the investigation of a very brutal rape and kidnapping that happened in Westnedge Hill on Wednesday morning. The victim got a very good description of her attacker and his vehicle. That led them to this apartment building, and they ultimately would open fire, they say, when a man came to the door and pointed a gun at them. Another violent crime in this neighborhood, downtown Kalamazoo, right on the corner of one of the most heavily traveled streets in all of Kalamazoo, Burdick and Dutton. It was back on November 5th that a man was found beaten almost to death in a dumpster not 1 block from here. He would die a few weeks later. Turns out police say he met a man on the internet, and that man beat him to death with a baseball bat. Obviously, neighbors are concerned about this now and worried about the crime rate in this neighborhood.
There's been so much crime and criminal activity around here. I don't know. I just kind of accept it, I guess. I don't know. The guy got beaten to death, somebody got robbed. I mean, you know, it happens all the time around here.
Yeah, back out live in downtown Kalamazoo and talking about this officer-involved shooting happening earlier this evening. The man that family members say was killed by public safety officers, 42-year-old Brad Mason, a registered sex offender having served several years in prison after pleading guilty to accosting a minor for immoral purposes. He's got a long rap sheet dating back to 1991. We should tell you that police have not yet confirmed Brad Mason is the suspect they shot tonight. Our Erin Baskerville, having talked with the police chief one-on-one and with Mason's family, obviously a horrible night for everyone involved. What can you tell me that they're telling you about how this happened?
Yeah, quick recap of what happened, Andy. You know, right behind me, obviously a busy scene. Behind that is a porch there where officers are collecting evidence right now, assessing the scene. What I'm being told is about 5 different officers. They showed up here. They walked inside the entryway. They knocked on the suspect's door. That's what I'm being told. He then greeted them with some sort of weapon. Officers then retreated off of the porch. A confrontation happened, and that's when shots were fired and that suspect was killed. I was also told that that suspect was actually on the phone with his best friend, and his best friend told the suspect's family that he heard police say, drop the weapon several times, and then he heard 5 gunshots. So that seems to be what has happened here, like you said, around 5:40, but of course this investigation will continue.
And we know that no public safety officers were injured during that confrontation, but you've talked with Brad Mason's family. They're aware of what's happening, and what have they told you tonight, his mother in particular?
Well, they're very upset. You know, we were at the police headquarters around 7:30 tonight, and they actually came up to us, and they were looking for answers. What happened? What happened? Desperate. And they're telling me that they believe that Brad had a BB gun. Police are saying he had a handgun, but they're saying he had a BB gun, and they don't know why he was shot. You know, they did tell me he does have 2 pickup trucks, and we know that that red pickup truck was a key piece of evidence in this rape investigation. But of course, they're spinning right now. They're upset. They're just asking why. They don't know what happened, and they believe he had a BB gun. Just a quick note too. I was also being told that the officers involved in this, they had about 10 years of service or less on the force. But I was also told they were fine officers. So that's the latest right now. Of course, more will come out protocol says that some of these officers will be placed on administrative leave as this investigation continues.
There's also a red pickup truck right behind that house,
yes,
which may or may not be Brad Mason's. We'll have to figure that out as well.
Yes.
All right, Erin, thank you so much, and good work talking with the family and with the police chief one-on-one tonight. Once again, really a terrible situation here, not one that police ever want to happen. A police-involved shooting about 5:30. The prime suspect in that very violent rape and kidnapping happening on Westnedge Hill on Wednesday morning, now presumed dead after opening the door and reportedly pointing a weapon at police officers. We've got live team coverage of this, and we'll have more for you coming up this half hour. And of course, we'll be out here all night with the police and have the very latest information for you tomorrow morning beginning at 4:30. For now, we're live downtown Kalamazoo. Andy Dominiani, News Channel 3. Kate.
A terrific job by our crew out there in Kalamazoo tonight. Not only Andy Dominiani and Erin Baskerville, but big thank you to our crews behind the scenes photographers getting those images for us and bringing them to the station. We'll be sure to count on News Channel 3 for continuing coverage on air and online of this deadly officer-involved shooting. Another Friday night and another frenetic night in the sports office. On the ice, we're talking Broncos and K-Wings and crosstown rivalries. Headline, our high school hoops coverage. Sports with Ed Kongursky is next.
Now, Ed Kongursky with tonight's sports on News Channel 3's Live at 11.
Well, Portage Northern and Portage Central are known more for their epic football battles, but tonight it's about the Peach Baskets. PC taking the court, looking to sweep its crosstown rival. And to top it off, the school's holding a pink night to help fight cancer, and take a look at those pink socks right there. First quarter, Huskies pushing the tempo. Junior Trey Humes finishes off glass, nicely done. PC shouting back though, doing it from the outside. This is freshman Austin McCullough, dials it up from long range. 17-14 Mustangs on top. More get out and go for Portage Northern. This is Max Schumann. Little stutter step there, gets all the way to the rack. At the other end, watch the low post move here. The Mustangs, Hunter Lassiter, left-hand reverse. That's some fine work down there in the paint, and Portage Central goes on to win it. Your final score, 44-42. They sweep the season series with Northern. Across the county line in the SMAC East, Harper Creek on the road taking on Battle Creek Central. First half, the Bearcats, Mayfion Joyner eyes it, tries it, and buys it from the top side. The Beavers then on the break, it's Mickey Berea finding Kylan Watkins, the bucket and the foul, hitting the deck there, but certainly worth that bruise, no doubt about it. Cross-court pass here. Colton Swims hitting from long range for the Beavers. Good ball game here at BCC, but the Bearcats just a little bit too much for the second time this year against one of their in-town rivals. That's Joseph Bowser, the drive and dish to Wendell White. BCC wins 66-60. Back to Portage for the girls' game. PC taking on Northern. The Huskies doing it right here. Quick passing in the corner. Ali Arabi knocking it down, getting it done for the Huskies, but PC pushing the pace. Taylor Snyder a little too strong, but Jessica Dornoff says, I got your back. She scores on the putback, and Portage Central wins here, 53-46, sweeping this season series. Earlier tonight on Live at 6, we told you the MHSAA has been in conversation with officials at Kalamazoo Central about the potential use of an ineligible girls basketball player. According to a source, the Giants could forfeit their first 14 games of the season. It would not affect the rest of the season, including the state playoffs. We expect more information as things get further sorted out. The K-Wings have 3 games on the docket this weekend, beginning with a trip to Fort Wayne this evening. Early second, Justin Taylor to Yannick Below, lights the lamp, ties the game up at 1 apiece. The Wings not backing down on the road. That is Chris Lawrence dropping the gloves. The K-Wings get an overtime goal from David Pecan. They beat the Comets. Final score was 3-2. At Western Michigan, a weekend set at Miami. Lucas Hafner getting the nod between the pipes. We're picking it up, and Western just came out flying. Watch Shane Burschback takes the loose puck off the backboard and flips it in to make it a 1-0 Bronx. 16 seconds later.